What goes on in your mind, what you see, how you visualize it, will determine how you pray, and how you pray will determine how you get what you pray for. Because you can't have what you don't have. What? Stay tuned. Hello, I'm Ed Montgomery. Welcome to Vintage Wisdom. Vintage Wisdom is about that little thing we hear about where you don't put new wine in old wineskins. Old wineskins used to be when they put wine or stored it, they put them in skins. And when you have old wineskins, it means that the new wine has fermented and stretched the skins. If you put new wine in old wineskins, the actual text says that the new wine will ferment and stretch the old skins beyond its capacity and will destroy them. In other words, you can't put new thinking into old structures. Somewhere down the line, you have to make a decision whether you're going to change the structure or just leave your thinking the same. So I want you to pull up a chair, come on in, sit down, and we're going to pour some of this new fresh wine. This wine for our thought process, how we think, how we see things, how we perceive things. Because that's what changes everything. How we begin in our minds. So take a time, take your moment, hit your share buttons, share it with people that you like. Hit that subscribe button. If you've never subscribed, hit it. We need it. The algorithms are very important for us. If you're on Facebook, hit the like button. We know that's what that's for. Of course, YouTube is subscribe and make your comments. Let me know what you're thinking about. If you're in the city of Houston, let me know. Well, no, take that back. If you're in a city other than Houston, let me know, because then I'll just know you're in Houston if I don't see that. Comment, let me know if you're in a state other than Texas, and let me know if you're in a country other than the United States of America. Now, let's look at this. Actually, the text comes out of Mark chapter 5. I've been talking about this for a while now. And it is a story of how prayer works. We always think in terms of prayer as something that we call or beg for. We look up and we look to the hills from which cometh our help. Lord, I'm looking to the hills and I'm asking you to bless me. And so we're hoping that maybe some spirit, some fog-like mist is coming across our path. And if we bang loud enough on the table or clap our hands loud enough, we can somehow attract this spirit to say, what was that? Who called me? And whoever called me will stop for a moment and we can ask for what we want, but we never know if somebody's listening. Well, prayer is not really like that. That's not what it is at all. Prayer is about seeing something or having it before you have it. Okay, let me say it this way. You know that old slogan or that old example that they use, that illustration that they use, that if I say pink elephant, they say the first thing pops in your mind, even though you don't want to think of it, is a pink elephant. Don't think about a polka dot hippopotamus. So what happens? Bam, no matter how much you try not to, some of you didn't care one way or the other. You see a polka dot hippopotamus, but you don't want to see the polka dot hippopotamus because you said it. Why? Because our minds are extremely fertile. And because they were created to be that way, it's just the way it works. What happens with what we see and how we visualize things becomes that first stage of reality. In other words, if I say rose, if you think of a rose And I use that. And if you notice, I'm kind of holding my hand as if I have a rose because I first visualized or saw that rose in my hand. I saw it. I don't have one in my hand, but in my mind, I have it in my hand. We think of a lot of things. We say lasagna. If anybody likes lasagna, we can go on and on. But these things, first of all, become pictures in our minds or images in our minds. The picture of the rose might be a flat illustration of the rose, but if we say, show it to me in dimensions, I want to see in 3D. I want that rose to turn around, and we could make it turn around in slow motion. And if we describe it, we can see the other sides of the rose. We can see one petal might be a little rounder than the other petal or a little shorter than the other petal. Maybe your rose is just the rose bud, or maybe your rose is half bloomed, or maybe it's the full bloom, or maybe your rose looks like the big petals or the small carnations. Whatever it is, the picture begins in our minds. This is the first stages of prayer. Prayer has several stages, but the first stage is that it begins by formulating the thought or the picture of the thing in your mind. That's what I think has been the most frustrating, is because there are things that distract us so much that we can't always form that picture clear enough in our minds in order to get what we want. In other words, we can't have what we want because we don't have what we want. If the picture is not clear enough inside of you, then the manifestation cannot be everything that it needs to be. Now listen, I was thinking about doing this particular vintage wisdom, and I was thinking about, now what do I want to say about this image, and how do I want to work with it? How do I want to try and explain it so that people can understand it? I don't want to be vague and whatever, and so verbose and everything. And I said, I have to be clear. But in order to be clear, I've got to clarify the thing in my mind. You can't be clear if it's not clear inside of you. So you have to clear your thinking. You have to see it as if this thing is so real, you cannot mistake it. You let that rose become so real that that rose is a reality. Whatever it is that you're looking at, let it become real. Now, I'm going to tell you this. It may not become real in the exact second that you begin visualizing it. It may start off kind of foggy, and it may not become real. But whatever you do, you learn that things become real as you push other things out of your mind, out of your brain, out of your consciousness. And until that thing becomes so clear, you don't have other things going on in your head. See, I learned watching basketball players and watching LeBron and Steph Curry and all these guys. And one of the things that I really celebrate about what a professional athlete does, it is the discipline that they have concerning their craft. And this could be anybody. It doesn't matter who you are. It's the discipline that you have. In other words, when they practice, they practice. They have their practice time. Nothing gets in the way of the practice time. If they can't get something right, if a shot's not falling, guess what they do? They go back to fundamentals. I've watched Steph Curry sit down and dribble one ball like he used to when he was a kid, over and over again, or then take two balls and dribble two, or take three and dribble three or four. Sometimes he goes up into multiple balls. In other words, it's a matter of discipline and concentration. Discipline and concentration. That's what meditation teaches us. It teaches us discipline and concentration. It teaches us to discipline our mind so that we can concentrate until an image begins to focus. It becomes clear. Jesus tells a parable, and he tells a parable about a sower sowed the seed, and some seed went on by the wayside. Birds ate it up. Some seed fell on stony ground, and it didn't take root very well. But some seed fell on thorny ground, or among the weeds, or among the thorns. And when the seed grew up, the small plant grew up, it says that the thorns or the weeds choked the seed. Not the seed, but the plant. As it grew up into the thorns, and the thorns began to choke the plant while it's young to keep it from coming into maturity. Notice what I said, to keep it from coming into maturity. It got the plant in its young stage. This is what happens so often when we're dealing with dreams, and when we're dealing with goals, and when we're dealing with images that we want to achieve certain things. Everybody's not just out there to achieve things in their pockets, or things, they can live in, dress in, or this. There's sometimes people want to achieve that ability to have that peace of mind, to be able to sleep at night, to be able to be, let me say, watch this, to be a success in their own world. Not necessarily a success in everybody else's world. That's not always easy. But to be successful in your own world, to achieve things in the world that you create. Everybody has their own world. So if you got your world and you said, listen, I just want to be happy in the world I'm in, with the people that I'm around, with the folks that come into my life and that I let into my life. All you got to do is become clear in what you see. What is it that you want? Well, I don't want to do that, and then I don't get it. I don't want to get my hopes up. See, I don't want to let that seed grow up and then something chokes it. Well, what you have to do is begin to let it grow. And what we deal with is those thorns and those weeds that are around it, those weeds that get into our lives to choke the things that will allow us to be what we see, to be what we see. Come on, say it with me. Let me be what I see. Say it. Let me be what I see. Come on, one more time. This is the treatment. It's like a spa. Somebody's massaging your thinking. Let me be what I see. You see, the mind is like a radio in your car. When you're tuning it, and you're looking for a station, you're crossing, hello, we got it. You go through all those little things. Then finally you get to one station, one clear station. You're looking for that station you want, and you hit that music. Boom, some nice, maybe some nice jazz. Some Lord. That's gospel, but well, whatever it is, you find that station and you get into that groove, and that groove is going through. You hear the keyboard, you hear that smooth sax coming through, you hear that bass, you hear the drums going through there, you hear all of that. Those things are not in that little radio. Those instruments are not there. It's coming from the station. And it's like our minds. Those images that we see, the rose, the pink hippopotamus, no, polka dot hippopotamus, pink elephant, those things are not in our heads. Those are the images. How in the world can we carry such grand images inside of our minds? Because these things are coming through another type of consciousness. It is a consciousness. The mind is just like the radio. But you don't want it when you got static in there. You're not getting a clear sound. So you're looking to turn your radio until it's right there on that dial. That's what prayer is. Here is what prayer really is. Now I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. real quick, real simple. And it's not just prayer. I'm going to tell you what your goal is. But I want you to remember something. And please keep this in your mind. We're on this internet. It used to be you just get on the internet, just say what you want to say, do what you want to do. But now you're dealing with people who are who want to get you cut off, who don't want you on there. You got to pay for this, deal with advertising, all these different things. So, of course, there are costs with all these things. It costs to do your lights, your cameras, all those kind of things are important. But let me tell you what's more important. In the world that we're living in right now, you better get your message out that you can push back and help people to understand who they are so they can push back on what other folks say they are. I'm going to say it again. You got to help people understand who they are so they can push back on what other people say they are. You can't let that happen. You got to be like those professional ball players. So take a moment. Go to myalc.org. That's myalc.org. Type it in your screen on your computer, myalc.org. And you'll see a big old huge donate button. Hit that button. And whatever gift you decide to give, you'll see the space for it. Give it. I promise you, we're going to use it to be able to help people know who they are so other people cannot tell them who they are because they get that clear vision. Or you can use text to give, 713-742-2035. Or, look, I don't even talk, I should be talking more about download the app. Download the app. I think we're going to, I don't know if we're going to have that little thing on the screen where you can put your phone up there and download it. But right now, you can text however much you want to give to 713-742-2035. In the message, just type the amount. If it's $12, $20, $7, whatever you want to do, do it now. Okay? All right. Thanks for allowing me that little commercial. It makes a lot of sense. Now let me tell you about that image. That powerful, powerful image. When you get up in the morning, keep focusing on the same thing until you begin to gain clarity. Read about a subject. Read about it. Whatever you can find, Google it until you gain clarity. If it's peace of mind, hope, if it's success concerning business deals, read up on it. Learn to close your eyes and gain clarity. Then learn to keep your eyes open and see it. Even though you're looking at other things, see the image till it becomes so clear, that is exactly what you want and desire. So now it is so clear in your mind that you actually have it. Now, here's what I told you from the very beginning. You can have what you have once you have it in your mind. It's real now. That's a done deal. Move to something else. Because now you have it. But I don't. Yes, you do see it because you got it. Manifestation will come when you least expect it. Stop looking for the bus. Read a book at the bus stop. And when you get to the good part, guess what's going to happen? The bus is going to show up. That's prayer. That's what it really is. Thanks for taking the time. Make sure you hit that myalc.org and make sure you look at some of the other vintage wisdoms that you see on there because all of them are good. So go back into the archives and look at them. They're good. All right? Thanks so much for joining us. See you next time. Hey, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit that subscribe button. Smash it, crash it. Let us know you're there.